field of back pain in 1989. In recognition of her scholarly and research activities, Anne was awarded a fellowship by the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy in 1999, and was also awarded a fellowship of the Musculoskeletal Association of Chartered Physiotherapists in 2003. Anne was until recently Professor of Physiotherapy and Head of the Centre for Health Research in the School of Health Sciences at the University of Brighton. Anne continues to have a very distinguished academic career, and she's going to talk about the Council for Allied Health Professions Research, working together to succeed together in building AHP's research capacity. So over to you, Anne. Thank you.
Thank you. I just need to work out how to do this now. Do you know how to change the answer?
Is that right?
No. No. That's the key. So. Fantastic. Thank you very much, and thank you for the coffee. It's good. I don't think I've ever had a coffee delivered to the platform before now. It's wonderful. And thank you very much for that lovely introduction. And as you can see, I have got a lot of white hair, so I am emeritus, but actually it doesn't feel like that. I've just got a normal working week now, so it's really good. So it's lovely to see so many of you here today, and I am going to be speaking about Kappa. But I just wanted to say it's lovely also to see the number of speakers that are going to be speaking to you today. And for me, it's like having a reunion, because I've worked with lots of these speakers over the years in different guises. So it's just lovely, and they're all very eminent speakers, and I'm sure you'll have a great time. What I hope you will get from this is some inspiration to do all sorts of things related to research. And what I would suggest is that by the end of the day, you write down 3 key things that you're going to take away from the conference and actually take to your colleagues, which would be a really useful thing to do. So, on to Kappa. What is Kappa? Well, it's the Council for AHP Research, and it was started in 2004 when 4 professors got together and we decided that actually we were putting a bid to the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy. We put out a call for champions in research. And we didn't like that idea, so we decided that it would be a good idea to have a network. So we put in a bid for the National Physiotherapy Research Network, and that was approved, and that was founded in 2004. And the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy have been putting in about £100,000 since that date, £100,000 a year to support it. We got a lot of other allied health professionals involved in the NPRN, which was quite interesting. And over the years, it became obvious that there was a greater need to change the name. And so we changed it to the AHPRN in 2012. And then we knew that there was the Allied Health Professions Research Forum that was also in existence, which was much more of a strategic body than the Allied Health Professions Research Network was. But we got together, both of us, the AHPRN and the Research Forum, and over about a year we decided that actually it would be very good to merge our activities, and then we became the Council for AHP Research, which I think is now getting pretty good standing. So please do get a badge and wear your badge. You'll notice I'm wearing orange, so if any of you have got the opportunity to wear orange shirts, orange ties, anything like that, great, that's lovely. We've got one at the front already. Or if you've got opportunity to change at lunchtime and stick something on, so let's get the branding. So what's our purpose? Well, our purpose is to provide one voice for AHPs on research matters. That's what we want to do, and we want to strengthen the capacity and capability of AHPs in research. That's not about every one of our members doing randomised controlled trials multi-centredly. This is about making sure that all our members are research savvy, evidence-based, and are not at all worried or don't have and don't lack confidence in carrying out activities that are related to research or evidence-based practice. We also want to raise the profile of AHP research. We'd like to get more money in for AHP research because we think we do splendid jobs, which we do. How many people think we do splendid jobs? See, fantastic. So you're on side. And we also want to give people the opportunity to build collaborations and partnerships. And actually, having the Council for AHP Research, getting AHPs together in one place is great because all the allied health professions have different expertise, they have different views on research, and actually having those discussions is really useful. But actually, you can do a lot just by having a simple discussion at one event, and that can turn into a massive research project. It's fantastic. So why is research important? Well, it definitely helps to inform and improve practice. It will always contribute to further research questions. I don't think I've ever met a researcher who's done a piece of research who hasn't then come up with another 10 questions. And they're often very disappointed by that. So, well, I've solved that question, but actually I've got another 10 to answer. Well, that's great. That's your career for the rest of your life, if you can get funding. But you can share those research questions with other people, with academics, with other clinicians, whatever. So let's just do it. It also, of course, provides evidence of efficiency and effectiveness of services, and it demonstrates the importance of our professions. How many of you get very fed up when you turn on the TV in the morning when you're having your breakfast, and it's the news, and they talk about doctors and nurses, doctors and nurses? And we're not alone in that, because the midwives get fed up with it as well. So let's try and make our services more visible. And we need to become much more research savvy. So here are all our member organisations. We were delighted when we started the Council for AHP Research that all the allied health professional bodies signed up to this deed. And here is a list of them all. Some of them are quite small, others, of course, are quite large. But what has happened over the last year is that there have been some negotiations in terms of finance, and we've developed an equitable funding policy so that all the allied health professional groups will contribute some funding, which has previously been led by the CSP at 100,000 a year. So all the other professional bodies are putting something like up to £50,000 between them into that pot. So we haven't expanded our funding, which we're keen to do, but we're looking at other sources for that. But it's nice that everybody feels that they've got an equitable position in terms of the funding. So this is what we look like. We got a strategy committee, and there are 12 members there who represent, each of them represents an AHP body. We've got 2 service managers and 2 consultants. And our focus in those meetings is on policy, our policies as a council, influencing, and that's a wider influencing campaign. Could go from anywhere from government to other professional bodies to, to arts councils, to charitable trusts, that sort of thing. So we are working on that very hard actually at the moment. It's also about governance and making sure that we are offering value for money, which is very important. And it's also important that we are doing the right things to actually enable our strategic plan. And we meet 3 times a year. Then you'll see on the other side, down here, that we've got our regional hub forum. And in your packs, you'll see that you've got a flyer in there, which will actually show you the number of hubs that we've got and where they are. And I'll talk you through that in a minute, because I've got a slide of that. But we've got 23 regional hubs. And you might be interested to know that when we first started the MPRN in 2004, we put out a call to academic institutions at the time, because that was a good connection that we had. And we said, would anybody like to start a research hub? And you need to be a qualified academic. You've got to have a good research standing, and you've got to have published, and you've got to have brought some money in. And we didn't know what would happen. We thought we might get 1 or 2 people saying they're interested. In the first week, we had 7 individuals from different universities around the country saying yes, they'd be really interested to do this. So it was people are absolutely passionate about it. And all these regional hubs also have facilitators. And there are 124 overall of hub leaders and facilitators around the country. And their focus is on fulfilling our strategy, but also capacity and capability building, and promoting these networks between researchers and academics, clinicians, managers, etc. So it works pretty well, really, at the moment, but we could do with some more funding. So if anybody knows, sort of Victoria Beckham or anybody like that who seems to have a pot of money, then just let us know and we'll try and approach them. We've also got a professoriate. We've got 103 members, probably, and it's difficult to track how many professors there are across all the allied health professions because, of course, one can be actually appointed every day. But we think we've probably got about 135. But some of them haven't signed up yet, but 103 isn't bad, and we've got a good breakdown of who they are and what profession they're in. And we've been meeting annually, but the thought is that actually we will meet once together annually, but then we might meet another couple of times during the year on a sort of teleconference basis, which I think would work, and it would actually pull the professors together in one room in one university or healthcare setting. So that's the sort of the plan. But the professors, of course, offer an awful lot of help in our strategy developments. They can also act as role models, and I'm sure a lot of them would be happy to speak at events. Well, a lot of them are speaking at this event, so you'll all be moving around the country shortly. Everybody, Nardine, get ready to get your car out in the snow. So here are our strategy committee and professional bodies representative. Some of them are here today. Liz White's here, who's also chair of the strategy committee. Liz, do you want to wave a bit more? Yeah, that's Liz. So if you are in a particular allied health professional body and you just want to contact any of them, then do. You pick up the ones that are relevant to you. But I have to say that when the strategy committee meets, there is no concept of, well, I'm an orthoptist or I'm a physiotherapist. There is nothing like that. They are all talking about allied health professions and building capacity and capability. That's what we're about. We are passionate about it. And all the hub leaders that we have and the facilitators all do this on a very sort of voluntary basis. These are our other strategy committee representatives. So we've got 2 service managers, we've got 2 consultants, we've got some regional hub forum reps so that all the committees know what everybody's doing. And then the officio members, includes myself. We've got Sally Gosling, who's the Assistant Director of Practice and Development, which is important because CSP still puts quite a lot of money into this, including the funding for the research advisor, that's Fran Fitch, and Katie Prangle, who is our support officer. And we also have some admin support too. So in terms of infrastructure, we're pretty good. But, we could go further. If we had an administrator in every hub, even for 0.5 FTE, that would be brilliant. So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on getting us some more money so that we can actually develop ourselves. Here are the regional hubs, and you'll notice that I have highlighted South Yorkshire. So welcome, South Yorkshire. Nice to have you on board. You were previously the Sheffield hub. Unfortunately, in your flyers, you will notice that because we've only just really taken this, done this change, you'll notice that there is a little sort of a sticky note, I think, on your maps that you've got in your flyers, and that's simply because of that. But I did manage to create a new list here. Interestingly, if you look at north of Scotland, they also do the Orkneys and the Shetland Islands. So they have a big task getting all that working well. And we're always happy to consider other hubs, but at the moment what we're thinking of doing is actually bringing some of the hubs together so they formulate into a sort of a regional hub group. But that it won't alter what happens, it's just a different way of looking at things. And actually the hub leaders are looking quite a lot really into how the hub funding could be redistributed. So we're working on that. Sorry, I just put this on because I like to wear orange, so I'm just telling you about the orange here. So our strategic priorities at the moment, whenever I go to a meeting, and I sit on a number of meetings, like the AUKUH, HEE stakeholder groups for clinical academic careers, that sort of thing. Every meeting I go to, people say we need to create a positive research culture in the workplace for clinicians. And what we want to do is to try and help managers do that. So we're not saying, managers, you have to do this. We're not saying that, because we know how difficult it is and we know what the challenges are in the NHS at the moment. But if there's any way that we can help managers to do that, to create a research positive culture in their workplace, then we will be trying to do that, and that's what a lot of the hubs will be thinking about doing over the next few years. We also want to get our research excellence framework sorted for 2021. Those of you in academic institutions will know about this, but it is important that we get as many people submitted as possible if we can. And so we will be sort of running a few events that might be helpful to researchers, so things like planning and evaluating your research impact might be one of the ones that we'll do in the next year or so. We might do a couple of those to help. We're trying also to make quite a lot of strategic links with various bodies, and I won't go into that too much at the moment because it's really at early stages. So these are some of the strategic links that we have via our members, our professoriate, members of the strategy committee. And these are developing. Public Health England, which you'll see at the bottom, has been very good over the last year. Last year, they actually donated £4,500 to provide some awards for allied health professions who've done some really good work in public health. And they're doing the same this year. So those calls will be out shortly. And I sit on a number of committees in my role as director of CAPA. So the linkages there are some of the ones that you can see. So, but there are much more developing, so keep your eye on that. So really, this is what we do. We provide a voice for AHPs on research matters. We're happy to help. We want to increase the creation and the collection and the use of evidence in practice. Because my worry is that a lot of students complete their pre-registration training, they go out into the clinical setting, and then they have to forget about their research because they're so busy doing their clinical practice. So it is important that we can keep that confidence going throughout, particularly with our pre-registration undergraduates and our pre-registration masters students. So what I would suggest is that we all work together to succeed together. So we thought we'd have a practice run at lunchtime, and we'll try to see how we can do that. The keynote speakers will have to be at the top, I'm afraid. So I'll see you in the car park, and we'll have a little go at that later. So thank you very much. I shall be around for most of the day. So if you've got any questions that you want to ask me, then I'm happy to chat to you. And if anybody's got an idea for another hub, chat to me about that. But I'm sure you're all sort of fairly local, so you'll want to come into this one, which is great. So thank you very much, everybody. I can do, yeah.
We have time for a couple of questions if anyone would like to